When it comes to road cars that perform heroics on a track, it's pretty hard to go past the Porsche 911 GT3. It is an absolute rocket. But Mercedes-Benz is fighting back hard with its fastest, most focused road car yet, the AMG GTS. Now today we're not interested in what they like to live with or how they pamper you in peak hour. Today we're only after one thing: how fast they are around a track, what they're like on the limit. Let's get on to it. So the 911 GT3, right from the outset, looks and feels more like a race car. You've got these deep bucket seat, 5-point harnesses if you want to use them, half a cage in the back, and an engine that makes an incredible noise. It's amazing how right from the start, the GT3 makes you feel comfortable. It somehow is reassuringly quick. And it has potent brakes. It is phenomenal in the way it stops. Generally sits well through corners, but go a bit hard like that and suddenly you can get that tail squirming. But again, it's incredible how easy it is to control it. It's not a car that's trying to bite you. And the other thing helping it, that gearbox just shifts gears so quickly. You come down the straight and it's bouncing around, it actually gets the stability control kicking in. Braking traction at 140 odd, just licking 240, and doesn't feel like it wants to stop, but unfortunately I'm running out of road. An amazing screamer. And mid-corner speed is phenomenal, it just hangs on brilliantly. But you also notice the GT3's lack of weight over the front, so it's a car you've got to set up right in a corner. If you roll in too quickly, or accelerate too quickly out of a corner, it just understeers. So you end up having to find the balance of what's going to make it go quickest around the corner. And often that involves trail braking. So you'll come into a fast one like this and just keep the brakes on a little bit, turn it, then get back on it. Set it up and go. And once it starts getting traction in those rear tyres, there's not much that's going to stop it. It is brutally quick, and these Michelin tyres have got so much grip. It's phenomenal. The AMG GTS does things a fair bit differently to the 911. For starters, the engine's up front. Technically a mid-engine, it's sitting behind that that front axle, very far back in what is obviously a very long bonnet, and twin turbo V8. So straight away the torque is phenomenal. It's got so much that you have to be a little bit careful in terms of not giving it too much too early. Well, you end up doing tail wags. One of the first things I'm noticing with this is just how accurate the turn-in is. You even start to think about going around a corner and all of a sudden the nose is going where you want it to. So it's very, very accurate in terms of its cornering turn-in. And the sound of that V8, it doesn't have the shriek of the 911, but it's got this lovely burble and a crackle and popping on the overrun that just sounds phenomenal. It's a lot more tail happy than the Porsche, which I guess is no surprise given it's thumping all that grunt to the rear. And an incredible amount of grip. It really does hang on nicely. But that's one of the best bits of the GTS, those brakes. They are potent. They've got so much stopping power. But one thing with the GTS is how bumpy it is. It's actually surprisingly bumpy, stiffer than the 911. But that grip out of the corners is astonishing. It really does do an incredible job. somehow, even with all that torque and all that go and sending it to the rear wheels without as much weight over it, this car seems to give you more confidence than the Porsche, so you feel like you can push on a bit harder. So it goes about its business in a very different way to the Porsche, but an extremely fun way. It is also ballistically quick. It actually feels, to my mind anyway, feels quicker than the Porsche in terms of the way it's doing it, but the lap times tell a slightly different story. But it's still an amazing bit of kit, and certainly the closest almost anyone's come to a 911 in terms of being able to be comfortable and user-friendly on the road and being able to be thrashed happily on the track. Not bad. Well, they are two incredible cars, two cars that obviously live predominantly on the road but can absolutely handle a racetrack. We knew coming into this that the 911 GT3 would be quick. It was ballistically quick, and at the end of the day it cuts a quicker lap time. But in many ways it's the AMG GTS that's the surprise packet here. It's got amazing torque, really crisp and sharp turn in some ways easier to get a quicker lap time out of that. You don't have to think about it quite as much, so that is a genuine surprise. If you want to know a little bit more about the specs and which one went quickest where, here they are.